Hey, welcome to another episode of Alpha 101. Today we are joined by Sam Keller of the Miramar Wolves. How you doing, Sam?
Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah. How are you?
Guys, well, actually today a little bit on the downside. Got a headache, like massive headache, and
True.
I'm also fasting as well for 24 hours. So,
Oh no.
so I'm a little hungry as well. But
Fair.
let's go. How's you're still working, eh?
I am. I'm working from home, which is a new
Mm-hmm.
experience for the whole team.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going fine. I'm actually on the overnight, so it's kind of like morning for
Oh,
me right
really?
now. Yeah.
This is
Um,
the statistician's job, eh?
no, this is at the TAB. This is the
Oh, okay.
I'm a race day controller at the TAB, so need someone at
Okay.
night to kind of just watch over all the overseas racing and stuff like that overnight. So.
Are they still doing racing overseas?
Yeah, Aussie, luckily. If it wasn't for
Oh,
Aussie,
okay.
I wouldn't be working right now.
Oh, it's the only one globally
Pretty much,
still going?
Hong Kong, South Africa's starting up again. Singapore
Hmm.
was. So, and like America a little bit, but
Really?
but
Okay.
Aussie's the main one.
Yeah, Singapore just had that getting that second wave, eh,
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
virus. So, all right. So I think I've known you probably the longest out of any of the b-ball people, because we started playing pickup basketball at Vic on
Very
Tuesdays and
true.
Fridays. What was that? Is that 9 years ago?
uh,
Or
a little bit. Yeah, well, I started uni about 9 years ago in 2011,
hmm.
so that would make sense. Yeah.
Okay, wow. Okay, yeah, and I think I don't know because we played with the likes of Carmelo and Sampan and Dion and stuff like that.
Yes.
But I think in terms of staying in communication, you're the probably the guy I've stayed in communicate with the longest. So those Vic days, man, those are the last like remnants of the time I could actually move still.
That and blackout a little bit. I guess we'll talk
Yeah,
about
that's a little
that.
bit after, but yeah, but I think by then I was it was a precipitous downward spiral.
I just remember you being a great rebounder for your size and stature. You just had a knack for it.
Oh, thank. It's just because yeah, you just got to know how to read rebounding, I think. But
Yeah.
I think you're the only southpaw that plays regularly, isn't it? Oh, Jaden's a southpaw. Oh, for those of you who don't know southpaw is what we call in America lefties. Um, I don't know. Is any other lefties prominent? Oh, Zyrus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. And how's your
Don't know
dad,
if you
man? Oh,
don't know if
sorry.
you call me prominent, but yeah, I'll take
Well,
it.
hey, like I think when you're doing your thing, you're a good 15 point 8 rebound, 5 assists. I mean, you're a really good free throw shooter. You're up in the high 80s. When you
Yeah,
get to the
almost hit
line.
90%. This
Oh, that
a
one
couple
season,
seasons
eh?
ago.
I think you're 88.3 or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Um, so in terms of how would you describe your playing style, Sam?
It has changed a little bit over the years. It was just run the lanes, use my fitness and my athleticism as a younger guy to just score some easy buckets in transition and shoot some threes, shoot some mid-range shots.
Hmm.
But it's kind of as the I guess injuries have built up, or the fitness has gone away, having not played all the time, in high school, or not played
Yeah.
all the time at uni. It's had to kind of rein that back a little bit. So I'm trying to be a bit more of an all-round player. Look for my teammates as much as possible to then open up my spaces later on and things like that. So
What have you found the most challenging aspect as you get older from the time you're, a teenager in high school to the time that you're in university to now that you're getting closer to that 30-year benchmark?
yeah, I guess just the natural fitness that I had is just was a stepping stone for every other part of my game, whether it's
Hmm.
finishing at the rim, finishing higher at the rim, um, you know, jump shots, not getting so tired and not getting so tired after the first quarter, and having to really force that shot up.
Yeah.
That's probably where I found it. Like, and then if my fitness is there, then the rest of my game kind of falls into place. So it's just a matter of having to, I guess, mentally think about how can I influence the game more by not just being able to run around people and not just kind of beat people off the dribble or things like that.
There hasn't been another player that I've seen play on more teams than you have, man. Because you've been on the Sonics, on your social league. I think that's when the earlier days, right? Earlier in this decade.
Yes.
You mostly played for them.
Like Vic Uni times and things.
Yeah. And then were you on one of James Ife's team at one point? Was it?
I played for Allstars a couple of seasons. I played on the Heat for a number of years.
Okay.
Growing up in high school and then through early uni before playing for the Sonics.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically filled in for a few teams here or there. Miramar Wolves, things like that.
You also played on Wildcats, right?
Yes. Oh, and the Wildcats, of course. Yes, that has been the last few seasons. Yeah.
So you also played for Rogue Squadron before you moved to the Wolves in Alpha. Can you tell me about your time spent with Rogue Squadron? Because you spent 2 seasons with them. One you played 9 games, and one you played 4 games. That was the second season, right? Or the first season? I forget now. But you did play the championship game with them, and you did make it to the quarterfinals the season after that. Can you tell me your time about Rogue Squadron?
Yeah, sure. So, as a few people know, I was kind of reffing first in the league, and then Rogue Squadron were kind of short a bunch of times. So I knew Jay and I knew a few of those guys. So they asked me if I wanted to kind of fill in and play for them. So and then turned into basically moving in kind of full time into that team in that first season. I would have played a couple more games, but I injured myself. I think I sprained my ankle right when I was hitting some form, and then came back for the semi-finals. But yeah, it was just a really fun, natural team to play with in that first season, especially. Everyone moved the ball well, really unselfish. And we had a really good rhythm, having Big Mike in the middle and just a few other guys that can kind of shoot on the outside, and guys like Dave Nichols that plays far above his size and stature and inside and things like that. And yeah, we made it to that semi-final. We were definitely underdogs against Tower. That was a sweet victory that we had because we knew we had to shut down Zyrus and Cam. That was kind of our main strategy there, which we did enough. And then we just kind of had a really good rhythm on offense, kind of feeding Mike on the inside and him kind of kicking it when he needs to or finishing when he needs to, and that was great. And then made it to the final, and we just weren't quite at the level of Gunners on that occasion.
Yeah, I think I remember that I think you guys hit your stride in that championship run, or the finals run, about last few games of the season, and you carried it over into the playoffs. And I think at Alpha, that's one of the few runs over those games I've seen where a team was everyone bought into their roles and bought into playing a team game. And, you see that consistently now from Raw Dogs and Stags, but I think you guys were up there in that little run there. And it was just a beautiful thing to watch. And, I did a video of it. I had like a little clip and here and there. And yeah, it was just great.
Yeah, we definitely peaked at the right time, I think.
Yeah, was great. Yeah. It was a big upset too, like you said, against Tawa. I mean, I don't think anyone was thinking that you guys were going to win that game at all.
Except for us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you guys had Austin, right?
Yes.
Austin Martin?
Yes.
Yeah.
Huge part of the team. Sorry, Austin. He was probably the other, definitely the key dude. And then for our second season, we picked up. We lost Big Mike, but we recruited Seblock and Jacob Tapiata, and I thought, sweet, couple extra guys, athletic big guys. We can make a run at this. But then the league got a lot stronger that year, and then also we never had Austin, Seb, and Jacob at one game the whole season together.
Really?
So that just really hurt us. So I think if we had everyone playing every week, we still wouldn't have been in that top echelon of the top couple teams, but we would have at least had a chance a bit more.
I think Seb is underrated. I think when he's a little inconsistent, I think, but when he does his job and he plays a good game, I mean, he can get easily double-digit rebounds. He can get like 15, 20 points. Jacob Tapiat is a monster. I mean, it's just he's ridiculous what he does, and obviously the size advantage of other people. And also Martin, I mean, he was having an MVP season before his first season. He was averaging about, I think, 27, 28 points and close to 20 rebounds, was it, or something?
Yeah, he's unstoppable. He's so strong. If he drives in, misses a shot, he's going to get his own rebound, put it back. Like you can't stop it.
Because if you guys have those three, and I mean, then you also had the outside shooting of you and Jay. And I'm not sure if Dave was around in that season as well.
Not much. No, he went on a nice little holiday.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, there's a three. We talk about twin towers. You guys have three people, so it'd be like a triple towers. But
yeah,
I don't think anyone in that league at that point would have been able to stop those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think I might have been the only guy to play every game that season. Like it was all over the place. It was one of those not almost but not quite seasons. I think.
But you guys did make it to semifinals, so that's nothing to be ashamed about,
Yes.
Because you go back to the States a lot, right? Or
I did growing up. In the last, I haven't been back for about 5 years, and it was about 5 years before that. But there were a couple of really big trips when I did go.
Did going to America, and obviously your mom being an American and you being American via that association, did that have any impact or much of impact in terms of basketball?
I mean, I think I grew up for American sports pretty quick through my dad in particular. Well, both my parents went to Ohio State, so I kind of followed the Ohio State Buckeyes quite a lot growing up. And so watched a bit of football, watched a bit of basketball, probably basketball in particular. So yeah, I kind of fell in love with those kind of American sports probably first before the likes of rugby or cricket or things like that. So yes, I would definitely say it had.
I didn't even know your father went to Ohio State.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And did you get to watch much? So did you watch more NCAA or more NW?
I'd say more NCAA. Yeah.
NCAA. All
yeah.
Right. I just said NW. That's all. Just said it as well. So what got you into basketball then?
It's kind of random actually. I used to go to the Kabuni Rec Center to rollerblade a lot, and I went one time, but
rollerblade?
Yeah. This is as a 7, 8, 9-year-old. And then I went to go one time, but I couldn't go rollerblade because there were like 50, 60 kids all playing basketball. It was a hoop club session that Kenny McFadden was putting on. So I was like, well, I want to give that a go. So I had my shoes, so I just kind of jumped in and then started going every week from there. So that's basically what started me in basketball. And then played for primary school, mini ball, and then played at EBIS intermediate school, and played on a few little teams growing up, and then but that's basically how I got started. And then just kind of once I got to high school is when it really took off for me.
Did you play on a high school team?
Yeah. So it was quite interesting because I never was a huge basketball. I played soccer and basketball and did a few different things and never took one sport particularly seriously. But I actually was going to Wellington High School of all schools, a non-sporty school, for me to become more sporty. See, like I feel like if I had gone to the likes of Wellington College or St. Pat's, something like that, I would have just been on a C team and not really been whatever, wouldn't have really been recognized. But being at Wellington High, where the talent wasn't so high, I kind of got recognized as having a little bit of skill, and then they wanted to kind of tap into that. And so probably my biggest influence around basketball was my high school coach and PE teacher, Carl Condoliff. He started this basketball academy at Wellington High, and it was mostly for seniors, but they were going to have a couple of juniors. And he just saw me playing on the outside courts, and asked me to trial. And basically from there, the whole summer, a couple of days a week, plus we were training, and that kind of got me a bit more serious. And then the next year I did Wellington reps, so, going to the morning trainings, and that kind of got me into that rhythm. And then just kind of started taking a little bit more serious from there. Doing the junior A's and fourth form. Being on a team that trained a couple of days a week. And at the same time, I started playing for the Heat Basketball Club, which was an absolute blessing because I'm just this young skinny little white guy going up against all these men in training and games and stuff, which really helped my game.
Was that the one that Salah does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So he had a big influence on everything. Yeah, just yeah, being beat up every day in training and game stuff, playing men's leagues and everything like that really helped me when I got to the high school games where guys were kind of my own size. I could kind of do whatever I wanted.
That's pretty cool. And overall, how did your high school team do in terms of wins and losses and stuff like that?
We had some pretty good seasons, especially for a Wellington High team. We were never quite in Prems, and that was always something that I look back on and be like, it would have been cool to play for a Prems team and go to nationals and things like that. But we made it to the semi-finals of Division 1, which is the division below, 1 year, and then my sixth form year we had a bit of a down year. We had injuries and just it wasn't the greatest, so we actually dropped down to Div 2 for my seventh form year. But we had a really good team at seventh form. We had about 7 or 8 of us were in our last year, and we picked up Deer, who he wanted to be closer to the show buildings or to ASB, whatever. I think it was still the show buildings at that time. I wanted to be closer there for the morning training. So I think he was at St. Bernard's before that, but he came and played for us. So we had a really good team, but we started off in Division 2, so we had to work our way back up to Division 1, and then we made it to the finals of Division 1 that year, where we lost to a really strong Wellington College team. But yeah, it was one of those things where if we had been in Division 1, we would have gone up to Prems in that final year. So that was a little bit unfortunate, but we had a variety of teams really.
I've always thought personally that you were underrated as a referee. I always thought you're one of the better referees around. You just don't do it as much, I think, especially lately, last several years. But when because you did a lot more when you first started, eh?
Yes.
But all the times that you've refed my social games and stuff that I did, I've only yelled at you once, and I only got really pissed at you once.
I can't remember it.
Oh, you remember that? Yeah.
Yeah. I remember it. It's because you never ever yell, and there was one time man, you must not be lying about this. I know something must have happened for you to get angry.
Oh, it wasn't you really. Yeah, I mean, I
was gonna say you got need or something. And you thought it was just real dangerous.
No, yeah, because I was driving, and this guy was trying to play defense on me, and he wasn't gonna be in front of me or stop me. So what he did was he stuck his knee out while I was in the air, and to me that's a very dangerous play. And you were right there on the baseline, and you didn't call it, and that got me infuriated more, not because you didn't call it, but just because of what that guy did. And if I was younger, I probably would have done something to that guy. But when you get older, you get wiser and learn to let things go. But
I remember you apologizing afterwards as well. It was funny.
But and I've done refereeing, obviously not as much as you, and I actually didn't enjoy it. I didn't have a passion for it. I did it because people need me to do it. But I gained an understanding and more respect for the job of being a referee once I started doing it that I didn't have before. And I think as a player, being a player and a referee, doing both, you kind of get a different view rather than just being a referee and not having that experience of being a player. Would you agree with that?
100%. Yeah, 100%. Just like anything, once you actually do it, you get a way better appreciation for it. I worked as a waiter, my very first job. Way better appreciation for people serving at restaurants. Same with refereeing. When I play, it's a two-way thing as well, because when as a ref who at the very least I like to think people would see that I'm at least trying out there on the court. So it's basically like I'm lenient when there's as a player, I'm a little bit lenient sometimes, or I quickly to understand if there's a missed call or something like that. But it's when referees and stuff like that aren't trying. That's when I struggle. So it's kind of like a two-way thing. You appreciate it, you appreciate the things more, but then you also see the flaws, I guess, a little bit easier if you having done it.
Yeah. Did you gain more respect for referees after starting doing it as a player?
No, definitely. I guess I already knew it was a pretty tough job, but even more so as a when I actually ref, because it's so intricate, and there's especially two-man reffing, like there's just no way you can see everything. And people in the crowd, people like other players will have different perspectives, maybe a better viewpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also so many times where there's a bit of contact, but it really is just the player being straight up or the other player initiating or the contact or whatever it is. So there's just so many variables.
How do you feel about the different set of rules, in refereeing? Do you feel that there should be an international standard set of rules? Because, you have NCAA has their own rules, NBA has their own rules, FIBA has their own. How do you feel like there should be a global set of rules to help minimize confusion or to have a global standard of the game?
I think it would be ideal. I mean, I know the NCAA like do their own thing in so many different ways. I think it would be useful. I think it just depends. Like, obviously the NBA is geared towards, the excitement, the show.
Yeah.
So they really try and open the game up by, calling so many little fouls to try and stop players from getting physical, I guess. That's why you see all the high scoring, and you see, the defensive 3 seconds. They really try and open up that lane and stuff like that. So so guys like, Giannis Antetokounmpo is really kind of not having the same effect at the World Cup, for example, because people can kind of pack the paint. It just depends. Like, I guess different organizations want different things, so it's hard in that sense. But in terms of a global understanding or a global, whatever you want to put it, I think that would be really good to have one set of rules. So I could go to the States next week, COVID-19 aside, and go referee a game. I guess I couldn't really do that. I couldn't just go ref a high school game in the States because it would be a lot different rules.
What did you find the most challenging aspect when you first started refereeing?
I first started.
Yeah.
Well, when I first started, first started, I guess in particular particularly wasn't very good. It's one of those things you learn by making mistakes, and you learn by developing that sense of the game and that feel for the game. What to call, what not to call. In certain situations, if the game's really free flowing, you don't need to call a little ticky-tack foul. But if people have been in a little scuffle earlier, then maybe you do need to call a little ticky-tack foul. So kind of those kind of things, just getting used to what players wanted called, what players wanted to let go, and things like that. And just kind of also getting over the fact that you could ref the perfect game, but no matter what, players are still gonna not gonna be happy with you a lot of the time. Not that I would ever say I've riffed a perfect game, but you know what I mean.
Players have a friendlier attitude or a more understanding or nicer to referees who are also players or former players, or
Probably.
you think it doesn't matter?
A little bit. I think it helps initially, at least, because you're a little bit more familiar with them. You're kind of more on the same page and have that general understanding of being a player. Whereas sometimes it is the refs on one side, the players on the other side, and you don't you might not interact with them as much, and things like that. But I think if you are a good consistent referee who tries hard, at least runs up and down the floor, answers questions when they need to be answered, when they're asked in an appropriate manner and things like that, then your rapport can be built perfectly fine without having to be a player.
Do you see yourself refereeing in the near future? Because you've toned it down quite a bit over the years.
Yeah, big time. I'm just especially lately, I've just been incredibly busy. I've got my full-time job, but I'm also trying to break into broadcasting. So I'm in sports broadcasting. So I was on the full Black Caps tour this last season for all the home games with Sky Sport, and I'm rolling replays. So I'm just trying to get more and more into that. So it's kind of partly being away and also doing the preparation to learn some of those skills and things like that. It just means I don't have the time to play and ref, and kind of valuing more my time out, away from refereeing. But I mean, I still it's at the point where it was perfect at university because kind of casual employment where I refed everything from the little kids, year 3 and 4s, all up to the prems, and it was just a really good way to make money being involved in a sport that I enjoyed. And just now I'm just kind of more happy playing, and especially with the stat stuff now. I'm really enjoying being in the kind of behind the scenes, doing the stats. So it's just kind of one of those things that's kind of had to fall through the wayside. But still ref occasionally. I really enjoy reffing the Chinese tournaments that Dion and a couple interviews ago, no, they're always great tournaments to ref, and so I kind of see myself doing more the tournament side of things, probably more than week to week. But that's not to say that I won't.
How long have you been doing stats? You've been doing stats for the NBL, right?
Yeah, a couple years now. So how I started with that, well, I started on the score bench for a year from being involved in kind of the national referee circles, because I went to a few national tournaments and stuff like that for refereeing. They did a post out to see who wanted to do score bench, and that was great because got a front row seat at the games, and just doing the time and the scores, and have to do a hell of a lot, so I could kind of enjoy the game from the front row, which was pretty cool. And then next year just got asked, because the guys who were doing the stats before decided to retire, so yeah, got that opportunity, and that's been really fulfilling ever since, really.
And do you see yourself doing that for quite a while now?
Definitely. It's quite a challenging role, and it's interesting how it's a volunteer role, because betting relies on it, and I know they do go and review the game, stuff like that, but kind of guys' careers kind of rely on these stats sometimes. If you've got these imports, and you might miss a couple blocks here and there, but that can make a big difference for guys' next contracts and things like that. So, but no, it's affording me opportunities. So it's all doing all the Wellington games is great, but then I got to do 4 Breakers games this last year, and that was absolutely fantastic. And I've got my FIBA accreditation, so I'll be able to do 12 Blacks games and things like that.
Cool.
So it's just real neat to be involved, and to kind of see when the box score goes up at the end, to say that I was able to contribute to that.
Have you ever got a player saying this something, or I should have this, or disputing your?
No, only at Alpha League actually, one time. Is it Francis from the Gunners? I think I missed his one assist of the game. The Alpha was really hard to stats, because it's back and forth so fast. Like, if you make a little error, you can't really go back and fix it easily. At least with the NBL and stuff, they kind of run sets a lot more. There's a lot more timeouts and breaks and things like that.
Well, the thing about FIBA, and you do stats in a FIBA way, I wonder if players know that there's a big difference between the way American basketball does assists, which I think most of the Kiwis probably watch, NBA, rather than FIBA does assists. And because you might not get an assist in the stat person is doing it in a FIBA way, as opposed to America. America, you can get assists much easier.
Interesting.
I feel, and so I'm just wondering if, because were you going to say something?
No, I'm just saying it's interesting. Yeah, I don't know too much. I think we've talked about this a little bit in the past. I don't know too much about the American side of things, other than I guess they want the stats to be high.
It's really easy. I mean, they both have the same definition of an assist is a pass that directly associated or instigated a basket, a score. That's basically all the criteria it is for America.
Right.
It's really subjective. So, but in FIBA, there's a lot more. I think there's like 3 or 4 criteria that needs to be met to be an assist. About stuff about being inside the paint, outside the paint. If you're outside the paint, you only can take a certain amount of dribbles, and then if there's a guard guarding you directly in front of you and stuff like that. So I think FIBA has a lot more. It's a lot more strict.
Yeah. I can't speak for what it was a few years ago. I think FIBA's trying to loosen up a bit. I think they're trying to same with some of the referee. So with some of the rules and stuff, they're trying to make the game a little bit more free flowing, a little bit more high scoring, and things like that. So I think some of the stats. So the problem is it is quite subjective, but basically if there's there is a criteria where if you throw the ball into space and the guy does it, has an advantage going to the hoop and they score, then that's still an assist. So maybe that's something that's changed a little bit recently, but I'm sure it's still not as loose as NBA.
But I do like what FIBA. One thing I really like that FIBA has done is give a credited assist to a player when they get fouled and they make one of the 2 free throws. I really like that because in the NBA that doesn't happen, and you're kind of taking away a good pass from someone's bad defense. You're taking away an assist. Yeah, so I really like that. Let's quickly talk about your Alpha League, your current team, the Wolves.
Yeah, no, I find them a great bunch to play with. It's a really good for me because obviously being with the Royal Squadron, I was kind of one of the more key guys, so I could do my 16, 8, and 5. But for a team like Wolves, they really don't need that at all from me. If anything, I'm coming off the bench and just have to. It's good for me to work on how can I, on a good team in a good league, can still find ways to contribute, which is really good for me, I think.
You guys have had some personnel changes, quite a few, I think, from last season to this season.
Yes.
With the addition of Matty Sands, I think Zach Young played his first game a few nights ago. Well, so you've lost Jacob, which was a huge blow, I thought, right?
Yes. Although he's coming back because he's from he was in Central America, but because of all this, he's coming home. But we've lost James Tribe, who's this key inside. Yeah, he's gone back to England. He was always going to. So that's a big loss for us, but we can in some ways replace him, or with Jake. So that's really exciting for us. And obviously, getting Matty Sands is a big plus. He's always been probably, if not the best, one of the top couple best guys in the midweek leagues over the years. So he's a big pickup for us. And if Zach can keep playing, then he's the kind of guy that can. I played against him a lot, refed him a lot. He's the kind of guy that can just kind of play with any team and contribute well, I think.
So how do you guys feel about your current season right now? You guys are 3-2, tied for third place with a couple other teams.
Team chats and stuff, on our Facebook messages, it seems like everyone's pretty happy with how we've been playing. And talking about the games, see a really good win today, or things like that. So I think we're in a all good position. It's just such a strong league now. When we started, it's gone from kind of a C grade to basically an intercity level league. So it's really competitive, but I think we're happy with how we're progressing, and I think we definitely will be there or thereabouts at the business end of the season.
All right. Well, thank you very much for taking some time out of your day to talk to us for a little bit, and hopefully we'll see you when the league resumes. Fingers crossed that we'll be able to see you for a few games and in the playoffs, eh?
Fingers crossed. Yeah, thank you very much for having me. It was good fun.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. You take care.
You too, mate. Cheers.